by hand that just took me a couple of minutes when we were doing it before, that little area right there would probably take me anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour to do. So that's one of the major benefits to a piece of equipment like this. Good morning. My name is Nick, the jeweler at Dondero's Jewelry here in Vineland, New Jersey. Today we're going to be talking about some exciting advancements that we have in our shop on the technical end as far as engraving goes, which benefits both our situation as a company. More importantly, it benefits you as the customer. For a long time, engraving has been done by two traditional methods. Those two methods are a machine transfer, where you have a machine that essentially traces a design and etches it onto the surface of the metal, which has been used for many, many, many years. And you have a more traditional method using a hammer and small chisels, or a pushing tool and small chisels, such as what you would see here, a handle like this, that you would then put small chisel attachments into, which would allow you to then cut a design into the metal. What we have here now is we have what's known as a pneumatic engraving system. Now, what this means for us and what this means for you is that metals that we were previously unable to do hand engraving on, that's no longer the case. With a pneumatic system, it powers very similar to how a jackhammer does, just on a very, very small scale. And it's similar in size to the traditional engraving tools. So the hand push tool, looking more or less like this. Then our pneumatic tool is essentially the same thing, but it has a piston on the inside that actually acts as a hammer that drives continuously at variable speeds against the back of this tool. And what that allows us to do is engrave any material that you guys bring into us. Not only does it allow us to engrave it, it allows us to do so very, very quickly. What I'd like to show you today is just a little demonstration of how that new item works for us. So what we have here is we have a silver ring that's clamped into my vise here. And using this lovely microscope that's going to allow me to see what we're doing a little bit better because my eyes aren't what they used to be, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with a basic pattern of just a running leaf border that you see traditionally on bridal jewelry. So what we'll do is we'll lay out our initial lines using just a little divider tool. Nothing super, super fancy there. Same thing you would use for drawing, just with a steel point instead of a lead point. And what that does, it just lets me map out the lines that I'll be drawing and cutting on this ring. Nothing real magical about that process. It's just old-fashioned, draw it out by hand and work your way across. So now what we'll do here is your traditional running wheat border, which has been used in a lot of bridal jewelry over the course of many, many hundred years. It's a very traditional design, not terribly hard to execute, but made infinitely easier by having a powered system as opposed to a traditional hand push method. So after we get our layout lines in place, we can actually start cutting. Now, as you can see, from just that little bit of effort, we've been able to transfer a fairly nice little design just in that little spot, which is good for us for demonstration purposes, kind of letting you know what we're able to do. Now, that carving by hand that just took me a couple of minutes when we were doing it before, that little area right there would probably take me anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour to do. So that's one of the major benefits to a piece of equipment like this, is it allows for a much faster turnaround time for very fine detailed work that would otherwise take a much, much longer time to do and requires a lot more control over the tool as far as placement. One wrong slip with a hammer, your whole work is destroyed. Being able to do all of the functions one-handed gives you a lot more control over the area.